Hey everybody, hi and welcome. Frank's back. I'm here to do my next in my series, GenXer Navigating the 2020s. This one for today is on politics. Ooh, he's going to delve into politics. I guess I better walk on eggshells, huh? Needless to say, politically, we're a lot different than we were back in the 1980s, maybe even the early 90s. Things have changed drastically with the political climate, so we need to tread lightly, I suppose, so as not to step on anybody's toes. What I wanted to share with you, though, is one of the reasons me, as a Gen Xer, has such trouble with the current political environment. It was a little different when I was growing up, is the lack of moderation. I was a very politically aware teenager. Both me and my best friend Buddy, we were really involved in studying politics during the Reagan Bush years and a lot of stuff that was going on in the world at that time. We kept one eye on that, another eye also on, of course, movies and music and girls and all that fun 80s stuff that we grew up with. But one of the main things I struggle with in today's society is I consider myself a political moderate. I know some of my good friends think I'm a little more right-wing than what I am, but by today's standards, I'm very moderate. My stances are pretty center, right-leaning maybe, but very center. And I was talking about this with several people recently, and what I found is a lot of us come to agreement that, there isn't much room for moderates today in politics, as opposed to, years ago, my generation and the generations before me, where there was room for respectful debate on things. We all need to place people in a category. Are you a Republican? Are you a Democrat? Like, where do you stand? Like, this is what Republicans believe, this is what Democrats believe, and there's no middle ground. Well, I don't really subscribe to that. I didn't back in the 80s and I don't now. I understand, society's need to classify and codify people, but honestly, like, that's not the way most of the real world is. I'm a firm believer that most of the world probably is pretty center leaning. Some of us lean right, lean left. I don't know. This camera's backwards, so I don't know which side you're seeing, but and it's bothersome because we used to be able to have debates in this country, respectful debates where we could walk away from it, shake hands, and still be friends with somebody who believed politically different than us. But that's no longer true. And there's the mentality now that either you're my friend or you're my mortal enemy, and there's nowhere in between. So if I'm a Republican and you're a Democrat, we're automatically enemies, even if we've been friends before, because you don't stand for what I do. And of course, that's ridiculous. And some of that is media driven. A lot of it is media driven, but it does not do anyone any good, and it certainly isn't good for our country. But as a moderate, I have beliefs that lean left. I have beliefs that lean right. And as a moderate, you really have no friends. I mean, people will either agree with you completely or disagree with you completely, and there's no middle ground. I mean, you can't go to someone and say, well, I'm for strong borders, but I also believe in compassionate immigration policy. People look at, what? That's not what Republicans believe, or that's not what the Democrats believe. You could say, I believe we should be energy independent in this country, but I also believe we need to take care of our environment. People are like, I don't know what to make of you. What we can do about you? There is no room for healthy debate anymore, none whatsoever, and it really is upsetting to me. As a moderate, you really have no friends. There's nowhere you can turn for support. If I would say, for example, I'm just going to give you examples. These aren't necessarily my beliefs. But I would say, for example, well, I believe we need to finish Donald Trump's wall, but I also believe we need to have an immigration policy that is fair and compassionate towards people from other countries. My Republican friends are going to say, well, hey, good job. Yeah, Donald, we need to finish Trump's wall. But hey, but what's this other thing you're saying? You can't really be a Republican. And my Democratic friends are going to say, yes, we need compassionate immigration for everyone, and we need to take in refugees. But we can't have a wall. We can't keep people out. You're not a Democrat. What are you then? Well, I don't need to be anything. That's the whole point of this. Now, I admit, like we can look back to 30 or 40 years ago, and we look at it through rose-colored glasses, I suppose, romanticize history. But I think there was more room for healthier debate then, and it lended itself to better communication between people, and not this constant conflict that you see on television. Not that television is accurate all the time either. I mean, if you look even at our news channels, you either have CNN and NBC, which are basically mouthpieces of propaganda for the Democratic Party, and Fox News and Newsmax, which serve the same purpose for the Republican Party. There's no moderate news anymore. Even the network news, they claim to be unbiased, but they're really not. Anybody who pays attention knows that, which way they lean. So I really wish we could get back to the way it was in the 80s and before that, where like we could have a healthier debate on politics. I think the younger people, Gen Z, millennials, etc., that have grown up in a world that where we all have to be put in a category. They're more used to this. I'm not, And a lot of this is the extension of the identity politics that we have out in the world today. Everybody wants to be associated with a certain group. I'm a Republican. Well, I'm a Democrat. Well, I'm a progressive, and whether we want to classify ourselves based on politics or race or gender or sexual preference or whatever, we all want to be part of the category, and I think that's led to a lot of problems in this country, and I don't think we had them as vividly back then. I know I'm going to get some pushback on this, but this is just how I see it. And since I'm making the video, well, I guess you're going to get my opinion. So again, this is one of the ways I struggle as a Gen Xer with the modern world in regard to the way politics is. I wish we could have a world that encouraged healthy debate among people with differing views that is respectful, where we didn't have to walk away saying, well, if you disagree with me, you must be my enemy and you're a bad person. I mean, the fact of the matter is it doesn't have to be that way. We don't need to place ourselves in nice, neat boxes and categories and just stay there and consider anyone else who's not in our little box our mortal enemy or somebody who's not worthwhile to deal with. Healthy debate, it encourages growth in people. My views are not the same as they were 30 years ago, or 40, or even 10. And a lot of that comes from, my willingness to open up and learn about things. Not that I'm where I need to be, but I'm always growing, and that's something I want to continue to do. But this was a little more serious than my normal videos, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. And next time on our Gen Xer Navigates the 2020's, we're going to talk about movies and TV. And that should be a little lighter than this little heavy little subject. But again, thank you for watching. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. You can find this stuff on my YouTube channel. Subscribe, please, and get the word out there. If anybody wants me to delve into a subject, just reach out to me, and I'll be glad to study up on it and provide you with a hopefully entertaining outlet to discuss the issue that is of interest to you. So have a great night, and I'll see everybody soon. Peace.